In this video, you will learn about the adaptive release and how to implement it. An adaptive release allows you to set guidelines for students to access your e-learning course materials. You can add an adaptive release to anything within a content area. Adaptive releases can hide content, assessments, and tools from students until they successfully complete a current quiz or when a certain date passes. To reduce confusion, you can also create an adaptive release so groups can only see material for their group. In our example, we have created 3 assignments: Homework 1, Paper 1, and Project 1. Currently, all students can access all 3 assignments. But in order to ensure students are ready for more, I'm going to dictate when they will see Paper 1. Likewise, students have to meet certain standards in Paper 1 in order to see Project 1. There are 2 parts to an adaptive release: rules and criteria. Criteria restrict access. Rules are criteria grouped together. When you have more than one rule, then you create alternate situations for students to access material. Here, we're going to create 1 rule each for Paper 1 and Project 1. Starting with Paper 1, I need to mouse over in order to prompt its option button to appear. Once I select this button, I will choose Adaptive Release from the menu. For Paper 1, we're going to make the date and the grade the criteria for students to complete before they can see Project 1. If you set the date availability while you are creating the assignment, the date criterion will already be present in your adaptive release rule. However, since I did not make this restriction while creating Paper 1, I'll need to enter a date when I want Paper 1 to appear. So I'll choose Display After and edit the date and time. Scrolling down to Membership, I can choose to make Paper 1 visible to only certain students or groups. However, since I want this adaptive release to only restrict by date and by grade, I'll scroll down to the grade options. To make the Paper 1 appear once Homework 1 is submitted, I'm going to choose the drop-down menu for Select a Grade Center column and choose Homework 1. And since I want Project 1 to be visible only once Paper 1 is submitted, I will use the Select Condition Default option. User has at least 1 attempt for this item. Although I have another option called Review Status, I will not choose it because it does not actually check whether students read or watched a certain content or material in the course. Rather, it just generates a radio button that students select mark as reviewed. So now I choose to submit my criteria. Now Paper 1 has an adaptive release enabled. To see the basic adaptive release rule created, I have to go back and select the option button for Paper 1, select from the pop-up window Adaptive Release Advanced, and so in the Adaptive Release Advanced page, I see that I've created 1 rule, in this case Rule 1, with a criteria of date and grade. Note that the Adaptive Release Advanced page contains all rules and their criteria created from Basic and Advanced Adaptive Release. I'll go ahead and scroll down, select OK, and now create a rule for Project 1. I'm going to go ahead and select the option button for Project 1, select Adaptive Release, and this time we're going to create a rule that releases, make visible, Project 1 only if the student makes a score equal to or greater than an 80 on Paper 1. So scrolling down to grade. I'm going to select from the grade column drop-down window, paper 1, choose the score option, select the drop-down menu for lesser than or equal to, and change that to greater than or equal to, and type 80. And select Submit. You should see the message Success Rule 1 created, and see that Project 1 now has an adaptive release enabled. Note that the best way to test if the adaptive release rules are working as expected, use your student preview and submit Homework 1 and Homework 2. Then switch to your instructor view, grade Homework 1 and Paper 1, and then log back to your student preview user to submit Project 1. When testing, give Paper 1 a grade below 80 to ensure that Project 1 does not appear in your student preview view. Then try again, clear attempt, and then give Paper 1 a grade of 80 and above so that Project 1 appears in your student preview.